Welcome to Divine Reveal. Why did God stop everything he was doing just to watch you today? Why did heaven hold its breath when you thought nobody cared? And why? Why did the creator of the universe lean forward in his throne, not because of what you accomplished, but because of what you refused to do? Listen to me carefully, chosen one. Heaven leaned in today, and God's heart leaped, not because of what you gained, but because of what you gave up when no one was watching. You don't even know what you did today, do you? You think it was small. You think it was insignificant. You think it was just another Tuesday, another moment of choosing right when wrong felt easier. But heaven calls it thunder. You've been betrayed so many times you've lost count. You've whispered prayers in empty rooms, wondering if God even remembers your name. You've sacrificed in silence while others got the applause. You've been overlooked, undervalued, invisible to everyone who matters in this world. You thought it was nothing, but God said that was everything. That moment today when you could have struck back but didn't, when you could have gossiped but chose silence, when you could have given up but kept going, when you chose mercy over revenge, forgiveness over bitterness, faith over fear, you thought it was nothing. But God said that was everything. The enemy wanted you to believe your small acts of obedience don't matter, that your quiet faithfulness goes unnoticed, that your secret sacrifices are worthless. You thought it was nothing. But God said that was everything. Before we go deeper into this sacred word, I want to thank every single one of you who has supported this message through Super Thanks. Your generosity means more than you know. You're not just donating, you're helping spread light to others who feel alone in their calling. Whether you give or not, I'm deeply grateful for your presence here, your support, your time, your attention. It all matters. And if this message resonates with your soul, go ahead. If you know in your spirit this word is yours, if you feel that holy stirring right now, don't scroll past this moment. Drop "I receive" it in the comments right now, because heaven is watching agreement tonight. The angels are taking attendance. Your obedience today didn't just please God, it moved him. And what I'm about to reveal will shatter every lie you've believed about your worth. You thought it was nothing, but God said that was everything. Stay with me. This is your moment. Do you realize that while you were standing at that kitchen sink this morning, scrubbing yesterday's dishes with tired hands, heaven was recording? Do you understand that when you bit your tongue instead of unleashing hell on that person who attacked you, angels literally applauded? And can you even comprehend that the moment you chose to forgive again, the same person who keeps hurting you, God himself whispered, "That's my child." Listen to me, beloved. What happened in your ordinary Tuesday wasn't ordinary at all. While the world was chasing likes and applause, you were moving mountains with movements so small they looked like nothing. You stood there washing those dishes, didn't you? Water running over your weathered hands, steam rising like incense. And in that mundane moment, you whispered a prayer. Not loud, not dramatic, just a quiet, "Lord, help me get through this." You thought nobody heard, but heaven leaned in closer. The Father smiled, the Holy Spirit stirred, because in that kitchen, in that ordinary act, you invited the extraordinary into your exhaustion. You didn't live stream it, you didn't post about your prayer life, you didn't announce your private altar, but God saw and God smiled. Then came that attack, didn't it? Those words designed to cut deep, to make you react, to pull you down into the mud where they live. Your flesh wanted to strike back. Every nerve in your body screamed for revenge. The old you would have unleashed fury, but you didn't. You chose silence over slaughter. You chose dignity over destruction. You didn't post it. You didn't announce it. But God smiled. And what about that person? You know exactly who I'm talking about, the one who keeps hurting you. disappointing you, betraying your trust. Today, they did it again. And today, for the 1,000th time, you made a choice that defies human logic. You forgave. Again, not because they deserved it, not because they apologized, but because something deeper than your pain compels you toward mercy. You didn't broadcast it, you didn't make it a testimony, but God smiled. Jesus spoke about a mustard seed in Matthew 17:20. Now listen carefully. A mustard seed is tiny. You can barely see it in your palm. It weighs next to nothing. You could lose it in the carpet. But Jesus said, if you have faith, even as small as that tiny seed, you can move mountains. Here's what he didn't say out loud, but heaven knows. Tiny in the hand, massive in heaven. Your whispered prayer, tiny in your kitchen, massive in heaven's throne room. Your silent forgiveness, small in your heart, earth-shaking in the spirit realm. Your quiet obedience, invisible to Instagram, thunderous in eternity. You thought it was nothing, but God said that was everything. The enemy has been lying to you, hasn't he? Telling you that unless it's big, unless it's noticed, unless it gets recognition, it doesn't matter. But let me tell you what really terrifies the forces of darkness. It's not your loud declarations or your public performances. It's your secret obedience. It's your private prayers. It's your hidden acts of love when no camera is rolling and no crowd is watching. Comment, "Yes, Lord," if you know God saw your secret yes today. You see, while others are building platforms, you've been building character. While they're collecting followers, you've been following Jesus into the secret place. While they're measuring impact by metrics, God is measuring your heart by moments nobody else will ever know about. Every tear you've wiped in private, recorded. Every prayer you've whispered in pain, heard. Every time you chose love over hurt, celebrated in heaven. Every moment you thought you were alone. You weren't. The Father was there, taking notes, keeping records, preparing rewards. You didn't post it. You didn't announce it. But God smiled. And now, beloved, I need you to understand something that will change how you see every ordinary moment for the rest of your life. What you've been calling small, God has been calling significant. What you've been dismissing as insignificant, heaven has been marking as monumental. But here's what the enemy doesn't want you to know, and it's about to shake the very foundations of how you understand spiritual warfare. You know what breaks my heart? You've been measuring your life by their scorecard. You've been weighing your worth on their scales. You've been looking at their platforms, their followers, their applause, their recognition, and whispering to yourself, "God, what about me?" But let me tell you something that will rock your world tonight. Jesus said in Luke 16:10, "He who is faithful in what is least is faithful also in much." Do you hear that? Faithful in what is least. While the world is chasing the spotlight, God is watching the shadows. While they're building empires, you're building character. While they're collecting likes, you're collecting crowns you can't even see yet. You think because nobody posted about your sacrifice, it didn't matter. You think because nobody applauded when you chose forgiveness over revenge, it went unnoticed. You think because your acts of kindness don't trend on social media, they don't move heaven. You could not be more wrong. The truth that will set you free tonight is this: God is not impressed by the size of your stage. He's impressed by the size of your surrender. He's not moved by how many people know your name. He's moved by how deeply you know His. You may feel unseen, dear one, but you are deeply known. Every tear you've cried in secret, every prayer you've whispered in the darkness, every time you chose what was right when no one was watching, God saw it all. He recorded it all. He treasured it all. But here's what's going to shock you. Here's what's going to change everything you thought you knew about spiritual warfare. The enemy isn't threatened by your noise. Satan isn't intimidated by your platform. The kingdom of darkness doesn't tremble at your applause. Hell does not tremble at noise. Hell trembles at obedience. That quiet, yes, you whispered to God this morning, that sent shockwaves through the spiritual realm. That moment when you chose to serve instead of be served. That moment when you gave, when you had every reason to withhold. That moment when you loved the unlovable. Every quiet yes is shaking darkness. The devil knows something you're just beginning to understand. He knows that one person walking in complete obedience to God is more dangerous than 1,000 making noise without substance. He knows that your small acts of faithfulness are dismantling his kingdom brick by brick. That's why he's been lying to you. That's why he's been whispering, "You're wasting your time. Nobody cares. It doesn't matter. You're invisible." Because he knows, if you ever truly understood the weight of your obedience, if you ever grasped the power of your quiet faithfulness, you'd be unstoppable. Every time you chose patience over anger, you didn't just keep the peace, you advanced the kingdom. Every time you chose forgiveness over bitterness, you didn't just heal your heart, you broke generational curses. Every time you chose love over fear, you didn't just feel better, you released heaven's power into the earth. Every quiet yes is shaking darkness. The giants in your life aren't falling to your shouting. They're falling to your submitting. The strongholds aren't breaking from your striving. They're breaking from your surrendering. The impossible isn't becoming possible because you're fighting harder. It's becoming possible because you're trusting deeper. You've been faithful in the little things when nobody was looking. You've been obedient in the secret places when nobody was applauding. You've been consistent in your character when nobody was counting. And God is about to show you what Luke 16:10 really means. He who is faithful in little, that's you. He who is faithful in much, that's where you're going. Every quiet yes is shaking darkness. But here's the question that will determine your destiny. Will you keep going when it still feels invisible? Will you keep choosing obedience when it still looks ordinary? Because what I'm about to show you next will prove that the enemy's greatest fear isn't your potential, it's your persistence in the small things that look like nothing but shake everything. You want to know why you've been under such vicious attack lately? You want to know why the enemy has been coming at you from every angle, your finances, your family, your peace of mind. You've been attacked, not because you're weak, but because your small yes carries more weight than their loud platforms. Listen to me, chosen one. The devil isn't losing sleep over the mega churches with their spotlights and million-dollar stages. He's not trembling at the celebrity preachers with their private jets and social media followers. He's terrified of you. He's terrified of the grandmother who whispers, "Lord, help me," while she's washing dishes at 2 a.m., praying for her wayward grandson. He's terrified of the man who chooses to forgive his cheating wife instead of filing papers. He's terrified of the woman who gives her last $20 to help a stranger, trusting God will provide. A whispered no to temptation is thunder in the spirit realm. You think your quiet obedience doesn't shake anything? Hell's war room goes into panic mode every time you choose righteousness when nobody's watching. Every time you bite your tongue instead of cursing someone out, demons flee. Every time you turn off that inappropriate show, darkness loses ground. The devil isn't afraid of noise. He's terrified of your whisper. Let me paint you a picture of what could have happened today. You remember that moment, that split second when everything in your flesh wanted to explode, when that person said those words that cut deep, when injustice stared you in the face and mocked your faith. You could have cursed them out. You could have given them a piece of your mind they'd never forget. You could have posted that angry status, sent that venomous text, made that phone call to spread their business. You could have quit. You could have given up. You could have thrown in the towel and said, "I'm done with this Christian walk." But you didn't. You stood there, fire in your eyes, words burning on your tongue, and you made a choice that shook the gates of hell. You whispered no to revenge. You whispered no to retaliation. You whispered no to giving up. And that whispered no became heaven's earthquake. Do you understand what happened in that moment? While you thought you were just keeping your mouth shut, angels were dispatched. While you thought you were just walking away, strongholds were being demolished. While you thought you were just choosing peace, you were declaring war on the kingdom of darkness. Your whisper carries more authority than hell's screams. The enemy knows something about you that you're still figuring out. You're not just any believer. You're not just going through the motions. You're a weapon wrapped in flesh, disguised as an ordinary person living an ordinary life. But there's nothing ordinary about the power you carry when you choose God's way over your way. This is why the attacks have been so fierce. This is why the enemy has pulled out all the stops trying to break you down. He knows that if he can get you to compromise on the small things, he can stop the earthquake your obedience creates. But here's what hell doesn't want you to know. Your breaking point just became your breakthrough point. Every attack that was meant to destroy you has only revealed the unshakable foundation God built in you. Every whisper of surrender you refused to speak has become a declaration of war against everything that opposes God's plan for your life. So the question isn't whether you can handle what's coming next. The question is, can the enemy handle what you're becoming? You know what's been eating at your soul, don't you? That gnawing question that haunts your 3 a.m. prayers. Maybe you've wondered, am I even chosen? Why is life so heavy if God is pleased with me? Why does it feel like I'm walking through molasses while everyone else glides through life? You've watched others prosper while you struggle. You've seen the wicked flourish while you barely survive. And somewhere in the dark corners of your heart, you've whispered the words you're ashamed to admit. God, did you forget about me? Listen to me, beloved. That question isn't doubt, it's the cry of a warrior who doesn't recognize their own strength yet. Your warfare is proof of your worth. You think the enemy attacks random people. You think Satan wastes his ammunition on nobodies. The intensity of your battle isn't evidence of God's absence, it's evidence of your assignment. The devil doesn't send his A-team after benchwarmers. He sends them after the game changers. Every sleepless night you've endured, every betrayal you've survived, every door that's been slammed in your face that's not punishment, that's preparation. The enemy has been trying to break you before you break his kingdom. But here's what he didn't count on. Here's what hell miscalculated. Every time you chose to forgive instead of retaliate, you didn't just resist temptation, you grew stronger. Every time you blessed those who cursed you, you didn't just show mercy, you expanded your spiritual capacity. Paul told young Timothy in 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 22, "Flee youthful lusts and pursue righteousness." But look at what that really means. You fled the trap. And in fleeing, you didn't just escape, you advanced. Every time you said no to what felt good but wasn't God, you advanced. Every time you chose the high road when the low road looked easier, you advanced. Every time you stayed faithful when everyone else compromised, you advanced. You're not who you used to be. Every quiet no is building a new you. That person who used to crumble under pressure, gone. That person who used to cave to every temptation, dead and buried. That person who used to doubt their own worth, they don't live here anymore. You're not the same person who started this journey. The tests didn't break you, they forged you. The trials didn't destroy you, they refined you. The warfare didn't defeat you, it promoted you. You're not who you used to be. Every quiet no is building a new you. You've been complaining about how hard it is, how long it's taking, how heavy the load feels. But what if I told you that weight isn't your burden, it's your training? What if those mountains you're climbing aren't obstacles, they're your gymnasium? God hasn't been torturing you, He's been training you. Every spiritual muscle that's sore right now is getting stronger. Every spiritual bone that's been stretched is getting longer. Every spiritual capacity that's been tested is getting greater. You're not who you used to be. Every quiet no is building a new you. The you from 5 years ago couldn't handle what you're carrying today. The you from last year couldn't bear what you're bearing right now. But look at you, still standing, still fighting, still believing, when everything in your natural mind tells you to quit. That's not human strength, beloved. That's supernatural stamina. That's divine DNA manifesting. That's your true identity emerging from the cocoon of your circumstances. You are not surviving anymore. You are transforming. You are not surviving anymore. You are transforming. The caterpillar doesn't know it's becoming a butterfly when it enters the cocoon. It just knows it's dark, it's tight, and it's uncomfortable. But transformation always happens in the dark places, in the tight spaces, in the uncomfortable seasons. What you've been calling your breaking point, that's actually your breakthrough point. What you've been calling your rock bottom, that's actually your launching pad. What you've been calling your greatest weakness, that's about to become your greatest strength. You are not surviving anymore. You are transforming. And if the pressure you've been under is this intense, if the warfare has been this fierce, if the testing has been this thorough, then the transformation that's coming is going to be absolutely extraordinary. But here's what every butterfly needs to know before it emerges from the cocoon. You want to know why your sacrifices feel invisible, why your prayers seem to echo into empty space, why your obedience appears to go unnoticed while the wicked prosper around you. Here's what you don't see. Right now, at this very moment, there's a book being written in heaven, not with ink, but with liquid light. Not on paper, but on tablets of eternal crystal. And your name is being inscribed with golden fire every time you choose righteousness when no one is watching. Jesus said it plainly in Matthew 6:6. What you do in secret, the Father rewards openly. But you've been waiting for the openly part, haven't you? You've been looking for the reward on earth when God has been preparing your treasure in heaven. Listen to me, chosen one. That moment this morning when you bit your tongue instead of unleashing your pain on someone who deserved it. An angel received dispatch orders. That prayer you whispered over your ungrateful child, thunder rolled across heaven's corridors. That mercy you extended to the person who betrayed you. Generational chains snapped in the spirit realm. You think you're just surviving another day. God sees you dismantling the enemy's kingdom, one small act at a time. Do you understand what's happening? Every time you choose forgiveness over revenge, you're not just releasing them from debt, you're cutting the chains off your own future. Every time you speak life over someone who spoke death over you, you're not just blessing them, you're programming heaven's algorithm to rain blessings on your bloodline for generations to come. That mercy you released today didn't just free them, it freed you. But here's what will blow your mind. Here's what the enemy never wanted you to discover. What left your hands did not leave your life. It didn't disappear into thin air. It didn't get lost in the cosmos. What left your hands entered your future. That kindness you showed the cashier who was having a bad day, it's circling back as favor with your boss next month. That financial seed you planted when your own account was running low, it's multiplying in heaven's economy right now. That forgiveness you extended to your ex-spouse who destroyed your trust, it's breaking the curse of bitterness off your children's marriages. Chosen one, as we close this sacred moment together, I need you to remember 3 eternal truths that will anchor your soul in the storms ahead. First, your hidden acts of obedience are never hidden from God. Every whispered prayer, every moment of choosing love over hurt, every secret sacrifice, heaven sees it all and calls it thunder. Second, what feels like delay is often God's divine setup. Your breakthrough isn't late. It's being prepared with precision for your exact moment of need. Third, you are not walking this journey alone. Every step you take in faith, legions of angels take with you. But here's what I want you to understand most deeply. God is still working in your life right now, even in the silence, even in the waiting, even when it feels like nothing is moving. His love for you isn't conditional on your performance or dependent on your perfection. You belong to Him, and that will never change. There's a community here, thousands of chosen ones just like you, who understand your struggle, who've walked through similar valleys, who are ready to stand with you in prayer. You are not isolated in your pain. You are connected to a family that spans the globe, united by the same Spirit that dwells in you. Let me ask you this final question. If God's heart truly leaped because of your faithfulness today, what would change about how you see yourself tomorrow? Let's pray together. Father, I place my hands on the shoulders of every precious soul listening to these words. You see them right now, in their kitchen, in their car, in their bedroom at 2 a.m., wondering if anyone cares. You know their names, their struggles, their secret tears, and their hidden victories. I pray you would open their eyes to see how valuable they are in your sight. Break every lie that whispers they're forgotten, unwanted, or insignificant. Replace those voices with your truth, that they are chosen, beloved, and appointed for such a time as this. Open doors that no man can shut. Heal what doctors can't heal. Restore what time has stolen. Vindicate their faithfulness. Let their secret obedience produce public breakthrough. And when they're tempted to quit, remind them that you're not finished with their story yet. In Jesus' mighty name, Amen. Now, chosen one, I need you to do something important. Share this message with someone who needs to hear it today. Comment below and tell us how God spoke to your heart. Your testimony might be exactly what another soul needs to keep going. Ask your questions. This community is here to pray with you and encourage you. And if this word touched your spirit, subscribe and hit that notification bell. Not for me, but because God has more breakthrough words coming that your soul needs to hear. Thank you for staying until the end. That alone tells me you're serious about your relationship with God. Keep doing this same thing, chosen one. Heaven is watching, and your reward is closer than you think.